على آله وصحبه ومن والاه ما بعد. Where did we finish last time? Can you remind me? What did we do last time? Yeah, but what part of it? Because there's so many things that we need to do. Because I wasn't able to finish. Did we talk about so what did we finished that it's going to be most likely only 2 times, right? We had mentioned that the name of the trumpet blower is Israfil, despite the fact that it is not mentioned in a authentic hadith linked with Israfil, but we have other ahadith about this. I also mentioned that our Prophet ﷺ authentically told us that Israfil has lifted the trumpet and has taken his breath. That in one hadith in Mustadrak of Al-Hakim, our Prophet ﷺ said that since Allah Azza wa Jal assigned him the job, Israfil has not blinked, out of fear that if he blinks, the command will be given. And because of this, he said, Israfil's eyes are glazed like pearls, like diamonds. They're glazed. They are just completely now numbed over because he has never blinked since Allah assigned him this. So Israfil has been assigned. This is something that is very clear in this regard. So the next point that we will inshallah ta'ala do is the issue of whether the angels will die when the trumpet is blown or not. Whether the angels will die, whether the trumpet is blown or not, between the trumpets being blown. Now the popular opinion amongst most of the Muslim masses, and even most of our scholars who wrote about this issue, is that the angels will in fact die. And this is something that we hear all the time in popular culture. And in fact, one of our scholars by the name of Al-Manawi, who is a relatively recent, late medieval scholar, he's only 200-300 years ago. Al-Manawi wrote a commentary of Imam As-Suyuti's book Al-Jami' As-Saghir, and it is one of the largest books of hadith, Al-Jami' As-Saghir. And Al-Manawi wrote a commentary of that book, so can you imagine how large that is? So Al-Manawi, in that commentary, he wrote that there is unanimous consensus that the angels will die, along with all of the creation. But you see, this brings us to the very important point that not everybody who claims unanimous consensus is true. And one needs to do more research. But it is true to say a large group of people and also the Muslim masses, the popular culture, is that even the Malakul Maut is going to die. And Jibreel is going to die. Israfil is going to die himself. What is their evidence for this? Of their evidences, first and foremost, of their evidences is, number 1, the generality of the Quranic verses that everything and everyone will die and perish. And there are a number of evidences. Who can give me some of these evidences from the Quran that everything will perish? كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ. Okay, وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. Okay, this is one evidence. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كُلُّ شَيْءٍ هَالِكٌ إِلَّا وَجْهَهُ. This is Surah Qasas verse 88. Everything shall be destroyed except for the wajh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And from these general verses, a number of our early scholars derive that yes, even the angels will perish. Of them is Qatada, the student of Ibn Abbas, and Muqatil, one of the earliest mufassirun ever. Muqatil died 150 Hijrah. This is very early. At-Tabari died 310, so that's double the age. Tabari is much after if you look at this. Muqatil died 150. He wrote a tafsir that is the earliest printed tafsir that we have of the Quran. And it's a very interesting one and it has its pros and cons. So Muqatil also said that this verse implies even the angels will die. Which one? كُلُّ شَيْءٍ هَالِكٌ إِلَّا وَجْهَهُ. And a number of other mufassirin said the same thing. There's another evidence as well, and this is an evidence that is found in a very long hadith in the Mustadrak of Al-Hakim, which is extremely weak, but there is a phrase in it that the malaika that are with Allah will die. There's a long hadith and there is this phrase in it. But this tradition is extremely weak, so there's no authority we can be given. And there is a third evidence that the angels will die as well. And this is the evidence that goes back to the hadith I mentioned last class, and I said that I would begin this class with this hadith. Remember that one? That I said in the last class that there is a very, very famous, Ibn Kathir says, it is a hadith ushtuhir, yani everybody knows about it, even though its isnad is something that is very, very problematic. And this hadith has been absorbed in popular culture. And that's why I wanted to simply then reference it. And I said last class that I would translate the entire hadith. However, this hadith is so long. It is almost, of this print that I have, 20 pages long, that it would not be feasible to translate. And even the fact that you have one hadith that is that long is very, very problematic. And I need to just go into a brief tangent over here. This hadith, firstly, it is not found in any of the books that even students of knowledge or beginning students of knowledge will be familiar with. We have to understand, hadith is a very complicated science, and I can understand why people are so confused about this issue of hadith and da'if hadith, and people are just totally confused about this. And I have an undergraduate degree in hadith, so I understand why it is so confusing. We need to understand hadith compilation was a human effort. Hadith compilation was a human effort. And we are familiar with the more famous and the more pristine and the more accurate books. And almost every Muslim is aware of the Kutub al-Sittah. And almost everybody hears the next level, Musnad Imam Ahmad, Mustadrak of al-Hakim, Sunan al-Darimi. You've heard it even in my lectures. Very few people, even students of knowledge, go beyond 10, 11, 12 books. But in reality, there are hundreds, no exaggeration, of books that were written in the first 400 years of Islam, in which the authors attempted to compile a hadith, and the majority of them are of mediocre effort or subpar effort, which is why people don't care about them unless they're very advanced scholars of hadith. The majority of them are done by people that weren't even a fraction like Imam al-Bukhari or like Imam Muslim or others, and their names are not known. Also, the majority of them didn't really care to verify. They just want to collect. And to give you an example of what I'm talking about, imagine, what's a good example? Like when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, there was something called the National Enquirer, tabloid magazine. But I guess most of you youth are unfamiliar with it, so I don't want to mention a bad blog or something, but imagine some blog that just compiles all rumors and scandals, okay? Imagine something that is just no verification, just gossip. There must be some type of blog, I just don't know, and neither do I want to mention to verify it, or I don't want to popularize it. But you youth can understand that it's a gossip blog compared to the New York Times. Both are online.